Hello everybody, Ellie here for WhoCulture. How are we all doing? As usual, there will be timestamps in this video so you can jump around to the various things that you're interested in, and let's get straight into it, shall we? First of all, I hope everybody has been tuning in to watch Alex Kingston on Strictly Come Dancing. What? I cannot tell you how excited this made me. I also cannot tell you how many people tagged me when this announcement came. Honestly, you all know me so well. Even people like this has been a thing in my life for a very long time. Everybody in my life knows how much I love Alex Kingston, to the point where I had friends I went to uni with messaging me, friends from even before I was at uni messaging me, my grandma messaging me. Yes, I absolutely did watch it. I thought the judges were actually a little bit harsh on her because I think her dance was absolutely incredible. Am I a little bit biased? Maybe, but I still think that if she hadn't been the second act of the evening and had been a little bit later when the scores actually started getting a little bit higher, I think her placement in the lineup this week in particular hurt her scores a little bit. It would be interesting to see how she would have scored if she'd been later on in the evening when they'd settled into their scoring a little bit more. No one was out this week, spoiler alert I guess, no one was out this week, so we'll see her again next week. I'm very excited to see more of her dancing. I mean, just look at this. I'm hoping Danny's put some lovely video of her dancing here. Just look, she looked incredible. The dance was so dramatic. I love that she's partnered with the one pro on Strictly who has been in Doctor Who. That can't be a coincidence. And he chose the song Cry Me a River. See what you did there, Jojo? We see what you did there. Anyway, very exciting. When the voting opens, please vote for Alex Kingston. I will be eternally grateful. Thank you very much. Moving on. Another little tidbit here. Again, maybe something to read from it, maybe nothing at all. But there was a post from Jane Tranter, who is a producer on Doctor Who, and she has been visiting Bad Wolf Studios, and on that post we had Russell T Davies commenting, "See you tomorrow." This post from Jane Tranter basically suggests that there are things happening quietly. So of course that's led lots of people to assume, oh, well, if Russell T Davies is seeing her tomorrow and she's at Bad Wolf, then maybe they're having meetings and it's Doctor Who related. And yes, that is one possibility. I would say it's most likely related to the war between the land and the sea, because we know that is coming. It's in post-production. Russell T Davies is involved in that, so I think that's probably more likely. It could mean absolutely nothing and two friends are seeing each other tomorrow and they're nowhere near Bad Wolf Studios. He's just saying, see you tomorrow, my friend. Maybe he is going to Bad Wolf tomorrow, but just because he can, why wouldn't you? Maybe he's just popping along to see his friend who happens to be at Bad Wolf that day. I mean, also, possible they're not talking about Doctor Who, but a different project. They've worked together before, like maybe they're working on a new project, upcoming project. Or, of course, maybe they're meeting to have discussions about Doctor Who. I mean, the thing is, they are the producers of Doctor Who, so at the very least, you'd be expecting them to have meetings about Doctor Who and the future of the show, even if it is a meeting to go, what the hell is going on? So to me, there's no news in the fact that these two people are meeting up tomorrow, whether it's at Bad Wolf Studios or not. At the very least, they're friends, and secondly, they are producers on a show, so you'd kind of hope they'd be having meetings. So anyway, that's the second tidbit. Let's move on to the bulk of this story, shall we? The bulk of this video. So this is just a little bit of fun, basically, about some actors tipped to be the next Doctor. And I want to start this by saying this is by no means a film or TV insider secret knowledge thing that's happening from anyone like Variety or Deadline or anything like that. This list of names that I'm going to go through here is basically from websites where pretty much anyone can kind of put odds on an actor being the next James Bond or who they think might be the next Doctor. So it's basically just another level of speculation. But some of the names are quite interesting, so we thought let's take a look at them and talk about our thoughts on them. Okay, so coming in at the top here we have Billie Piper at 61.9%. The odds are 61.9%. Isn't it quite funny that the person we've literally seen regenerate into the next Doctor has only got 61.9%? They've seen it with their own eyes. So I find that quite hilarious. Yeah, the current Doctor has only got 61% odds, nearly 62% odds of being the next Doctor, which I guess speaks a lot for the speculation that she is not in fact the Doctor, the 16th Doctor. This is odds on the 16th Doctor, so let's make that clear. That's probably why the odds are not higher than they are, because I can see no other reason why what you've seen with your own eyes is not higher up than that. But I find that quite funny. So the next name on this list is a good name, I'm not going to lie. It's Erin Doherty at 50%, so good odds, I would say. She's best known for playing Princess Anne in The Crown, in the second era of The Crown, the Olivia Colman era of The Crown, and obviously more recently, Emmy-winning performance in Netflix's Adolescence. I will be maybe a little bit ashamed to admit that I have not actually seen Adolescence yet. I've seen enough clips of it to know that she gave a brilliant performance, but it's still on my list. I absolutely am going to watch it because so many people have spoken about it. It's Emmy-winning. I want to watch it, but at this point I haven't. But I have a fun story about Erin Doherty because I actually saw Erin Doherty in a play pre-fame. I believe she may well have still been at drama school. And I have a copy of the play right here, Junkyard, and it's significant because this play, Junkyard, which opened at the Bristol Old Vic Theatre, I believe Erin Doherty trained at Bristol Old Vic Drama School. I went to university in Bristol. I did actor training, not at Bristol Old Vic Drama School, but I did actor training at university in Bristol. I went to the theatre a lot. I went to the Bristol Old Vic Theatre a lot. We saw this play, which was all about a playground that was built in Bristol. It's an existing playground. I've been there. And it was written by Jack Thorne, who, as you may well know, is a writer and producer for Adolescence. So clearly they have a good working relationship because they've been working together since this play, which I believe was put to the stage in 2017, I believe. The reason I have a copy of it here is that I actually went to find the original cast list from the play, and you'll be able to see right here, I hope that's on camera, Erin Doherty, her name is right there. So just proof, I purchased this at the theatre the night I saw the play, and I saw her. So just for that alone, it would be great to see her as the Doctor, just to have that kind of personal connection, to be able to say, I saw her before she was famous in this play, putting on a Bristolian accent and singing about a playground. But I actually think she would be a very interesting person to play the Doctor. I know I've spoken before about actors who are well known and whether I feel that works or doesn't work for the role of the Doctor, and for the most part I would say it doesn't work. What I would say about Erin Doherty is I think she's on her way to being well known because of the success of Adolescence, but I think at the moment she's probably still teetering on a fine line where it would probably still work for her to be the Doctor. And the reason I say that is because I think a lot of the time when an actor is so famous for a very overt character, so for example, Ncuti Gatwa was so famous for his role in Sex Education, which was a very flamboyant and eccentric role, and so they're very memorable in that role because it's so over the top. And I think maybe like with comedians and things, that's where perhaps it doesn't work so well because they're so well known for something so specific. Whereas Erin Doherty, for the most part, or at least for what I've seen, has played much straighter roles, much more serious roles, which although brilliant and Emmy winning, aren't necessarily so iconic for what they are that it would then taint or put expectations on her playing the role of the Doctor. Whereas I think Ncuti Gatwa, you had expectations of what sort of character the Doctor was going to be played by him based on his famous role in Sex Education. I hope that makes sense. But I think she would actually be a really good choice to play the Doctor. Next up, Whoopi Goldberg, 36.4%. Where has this name come from? I have to admit, instantly it's a no from me, because I just do not feel that an American actor can play the Doctor. Whether Doctor Who itself has now branched over and is a big deal in America, that's absolutely fine, but it is still fundamentally this quirky British programme. And as much as we want to expand in terms of reach and audience, I don't want it to lose its charm and its roots, which is its overt Britishness, and having an American actor playing the title role I just don't think would work for me. Now, Whoopi Goldberg is known within the sci-fi world. She had the role of Guinan in Star Trek The Next Generation, so, you know, sci-fi is not new to her, but I do not think that she would be a good fit for the role of the Doctor. Not for me. Next up, Matt Smith, 33.3%. He's already been the Doctor. We've had enough. Surprise, we're gonna have a previous Doctor regenerate into the new Doctor. That's too fresh. If they did that again, it really, really would be they have completely lost the plot. So, absolutely not. I'd love to see Matt Smith return one day. I think perhaps, actually, if we were going to have a multi-Doctor story, as long as it's not David Tennant, I really don't mind. But I think Matt Smith would be a really interesting Doctor to return, but not now. Absolutely not now. Next up, we have Amy Lou Wood at 28.6%. We have another sex education famous actor here, and she's a very interesting name to throw in there. I kind of get more companion vibes from her personality, from, again, her very famous role, which is Amy in Sex Education. For all the reasons that I've spoken about with, a known actor playing the Doctor, Amy Lou Wood is a good example of someone who is very iconic for their kind of flamboyant, over-the-top character. And I don't know that would work necessarily for the Doctor, but I do think she would make an excellent companion. And I now kind of want to add her to a list of who should be the companion, because I think she would be a really great choice. Next up, Hugh Grant, 25%. Are people forgetting that Hugh Grant has technically already played the Doctor in Curse of Fatal Death? Because I certainly haven't. Yeah, I kind of feel like, again, Hugh Grant, quite well known, quite famous. There could have been a time where he would have been a good choice. Maybe at the height of his rom-com days. Now, not so sure. I think I'd certainly like to see him in Doctor Who. And I'm kind of surprised he's not, well, apart from Curse of Fatal Death, kind of surprised he hasn't appeared in the main show itself before. So I certainly would like to see him in Doctor Who, but I don't know that I'd like to see him as the Doctor. He certainly has a place in the Whoniverse. I just don't know if the Doctor is that place. Next up, Jo Martin at 25%. Similarly to Matt Smith, I do not want to see the 16th Doctor being another familiar face, and certainly not a past incarnation of the Doctor. Now, I am all for having a spin-off or having a series that is a series that is kind of out of sequence and focuses on the fugitive Doctor, but I don't want Jo Martin to be the 16th Doctor. I think Sean and I actually did discuss in a video quite recently that it would be quite interesting to fill the gap between season 2 and whatever the hell season 3 ends up being, to fill that gap with a series that kind of flashes us back to Jo Martin, to the fugitive Doctor's era. I think that would be really interesting, whether that's a spin-off, whether that's just a kind of filler series to bridge the gap, to tell a bit more of her story, to make sure that we still have Doctor Who content coming out while they figure out what it is they're going to do next. You've got a character there who has so much story potential that hasn't been tapped into. So I absolutely would like to see more of her and more of a proper focus on her time as the Doctor, but I do not want her to be the next incarnation of the Doctor. Next up, we have Danny Dyer at 22.2%. Honestly, I would love to see Danny Dyer as the Doctor. We are never going to see Danny Dyer as the Doctor. He would be the first Doctor to just knock out Davros with one punch. End of episode. He's not messing around. Here for it, it's never going to happen. Next up, Tom Hiddleston at 20%. Why does Tom Hiddleston's name always appear on these lists? Whenever it's who's going to be the next James Bond, who's going to be the next Doctor, Tom Hiddleston. I think, to be quite honest with you, the role of Loki is too similar to the role of the Doctor, especially after the Loki series, that I just don't think he would ever be cast as the Doctor because it's too similar of a role. So I just don't think, and I think he's too famous. He is too famous to be playing the Doctor. It's not happening. Next up, we have Lydia West at 18.2%. I could see her playing the Doctor, and to be honest, her name was very high on the list, the speculation list, prior to Ncuti Gat was casting. Lots of people thought that she was going to be the next Doctor. I think a lot of people were certain that she was going to be the next Doctor, and I think a lot of that comes down to her connection to Russell T Davies, having worked with him on It's a Sin, having worked with him on Years and Years. She's worked with Stephen Moffat on Dracula, so she has that connection, and I think she could be a very interesting choice for the Doctor. Having said that, I feel that if she was going to be cast as the Doctor, they would have done that the last time around, when they were casting for the 15th Doctor, or the 14th Doctor or whatever we thought it was going to be at the time. I do think she would be an interesting choice, and I do think her connections to Russell T Davies in particular do make her a strong candidate. But I wonder if that opportunity has passed now, whether that would have worked better the last time. But I wouldn't rule it out. And last but not least, at 14.3%, David Tennant. I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised at this point, but absolutely no. No! Do not bring David Tennant back. Again, I do not want the next Doctor to be a returning face. We've already had that. We've got the whole Billie Piper thing to fix. Do not bring a past Doctor back as the next Doctor again. And don't make it David Tennant again. The man needs a rest. And the show needs a rest from him. By all means, let's have a spin-off with 14 and Donna. Let's explore that. Maybe Big Finish can explore that a little bit more. But for the love of all that is holy, do not cast David Tennant as the next Doctor. I am begging you. Do not do it. Very strange collection of names there. I think of all of those on the list, my top choice, if I had to choose one from that list, would be Erin Doherty. For all the reasons I gave already, but I do think she would be an interesting choice, and I could see her playing the role of the Doctor. So especially if she kind of used her natural accent, I just think it would be very interesting. Let's put it to you. If you had to pick one of the names from the names that I've just said there, which one would you pick and why? Who are you casting as the next Doctor from that list of names? I genuinely am curious to know. Who's your pick? Let me know in the comments down below. We do also have a video out of potential actors who we think could play the 16th Doctor. Just a bit of fun, nothing set in stone or no confirmations of any of them, just us doing a little bit of speculating as well, so do go and check that out. And in the meantime, I've been Ellie for WhoCulture, and in the words of Riversong herself, goodbye, sweeties.